Have you ever wondered if you can pressure cook fresh green beans and have them turn out perfectly? Well, guess what? You can, and I'm going to show you how. Welcome to the Salted Pepper, where we cook for real life using real food and we keep it real simple. And let me tell you, this recipe is simple and it is delicious and it takes no time at all. It is the perfect side dish for just about anything that you want to pair with it. Okay, it's garlic, butter, green beans. Now, you don't like garlic? That's fine, leave them out. You don't want to use the butter? That's fine, leave it out. The other ingredients are super easy. You can customize this any way you want. But the important thing is we are going to pressure cook these green beans so that they are not mushy. They are a perfect texture. You're gonna love them. Let's get right into it because it's super easy. I'm using the Ninja Foodi 6.5 quart, but you could use any pressure cooker that you have, any size pressure cooker that you have, really. Even a little baby pressure cooker will work for this recipe. If you're using something bigger than a 6.5 quart, like an 8 quart Ninja Foodi, what I would recommend is adding 2 extra tablespoons of the vegetable stock, or you could use chicken stock if you wanted to, or chicken broth. I'm using 1/4 cup, that's it. We do have some butter and that does bring in, some more liquid as we pressure cook. But because the 8 quart uses up more of the liquid to come to pressure because it's taller, so it builds more steam, more liquid evaporates before we go under pressure. Just add 2 more tablespoons, okay? Then we're gonna add in 3 tablespoons of salted butter. You can use unsalted if you want, there's no problem there. Now, we're gonna add in 1 full tablespoon of minced garlic. This is freshly minced, but it really doesn't matter. You can use, the jar kind if you want. It makes no difference. 1 full tablespoon, okay? All right, now to the green beans. I have most of them already prepped, but I did want to show you a quick way that I do it. I mean, obviously you can trim your green beans any which way you want, but this is the way I do it because, I don't want to sit there with 1 green bean. It would take me half of the day, right? So I grab a handful and sort of match up the ends here because I like to trim off both ends. So I don't know, 8, 10 green beans at a time, and then just take my knife and go straight down. Then when I flip them around, what I do is I push them all to the knife so that I get them back in an order and trim them off that way. Super easy. Now they've already been rinsed and everything. You can trim them and then rinse them or rinse them and trim them. It makes no difference. So let me do the rest of these and then we'll put in the remaining green beans, which is the total of 1 pound of green beans. I do believe that you could double this recipe and it would be fine. I have not tried it though, but I don't think you'd have any issues. You might want to take your pressure cook time down though, and I'll get into that in just a minute. Okay, let's get these in. All right, so super easy. Throw in those green beans. And we almost forgot the salt and pepper. Very little though, 1/4 teaspoon of fine grind sea salt or kosher salt and 1/4 teaspoon of pepper. Now, I recommend going light on the seasonings because when I tried 1/2 teaspoon of salt, which I thought would be, if I was sauteing them, that seems to be what I would use for 1 pound of green beans. It was actually pretty salty, probably because of the salt content in the vegetable broth that I'm using and also in the butter. So vegetable broths or stocks, whichever you want to call them, they are going to vary a little bit in the salt content. So you may need to adjust at the end by adding a little bit more salt to taste, but start off with just 1/4 so that you can make sure that you don't oversalt the dish. All right, now we go under pressure. Now this will be a little bit different for whatever kind of pressure cooker you have. If you have the 2-lid model, you're gonna, or a regular Instant Pot, you're gonna put on your pressure lid. With this one, I use the slider. It slides over to pressure. We're gonna turn it on. Make sure your valve in the back is to the seal position, very important. And then take your time down to 1 minute and hit start. That's it. When the 1 minute is up, do an immediate release, and then I will show you what these look like. But let's talk real quick about the 8 quart. So if you wanted to use an 8 quart, it's gonna take just a little bit longer to come to pressure, not too much. I mean, we're talking like maybe a minute, but because we are dealing with a quick cooking vegetable, and I found that 1 minute gave the perfect texture, you may try 0 minutes, okay? And then do an immediate release and taste them. Now, if they're still maybe a little too al dente, maybe they're just a little too firm for your liking, stick with the 0 minutes and do like a 2-minute natural release, which will give them a little more cook time. So those are the kinds of things that you can tweak after you try the recipe once. 6.5 quart or lower, I would definitely stick with the 1 minute. Although if you really want firm, go down to 0 minutes too, if your pressure cooker will allow that. If your pressure cooker doesn't let you set the time for 0 minutes, because the Ninja Foodie does let you do that, then you can set it for 1 minute, but as soon as it switches over, just go ahead and turn it off and flip your valve, okay, to the vent position, and then you essentially cook for 0 minutes, meaning that the food cooked in the time it took to come to pressure. And that's what happens with the green beans. This is a recipe you do not walk away from, okay? Because you can overcook these very, very quickly. And we are done. Oh my gosh. You guys are gonna love this, I'm telling you. It is so amazing. I was so shocked the first time I made it because I thought these are not gonna be good. They're gonna be mushy or something. They are perfect, perfect. Dump them into your serving bowl, look at that. And there's hardly anything left. There's a little bit of juice in the bottom, but very little. I mean, we're done, literally. So this is a side dish that you can prep and make in under 15 minutes. All right. And they're gorgeous. And I know they're good because I've made them so many times. Like, this is a recipe that I would never get tired of, and I will make it over and over and over again. All right. Now, this is what's important, okay? They're gonna be a little hot. Look, they have a snap to them. Oh my goodness. They are absolutely delicious. Mmm.